Before a single word is spoken, something inside you is already responding. It's as if there's a different breath in the atmosphere, a quiet premonition, a sense that something is about to be revealed. And let me begin by telling you this with the authority of someone who knows what they're saying. What God built in silence in your life will become impossible to ignore once it comes into the open. Sometimes heaven works behind the curtains, not because you are late, not because you are being punished, but because there are processes that only gain strength when they are shaped in secrecy. And maybe you confuse silence with absence, but the kingdom never left you alone. Every time you thought you were stuck, God was designing. Every time you thought you were alone, God was preparing. There are seasons in life when God says nothing, but He writes everything. And I tell you this with prophetic certainty. You are about to enter the season where what God wrote in silence will be seen, recognized, and confirmed in the open. Stay with me until the end of this episode, because today you will not only hear, you will understand the reason for the silence, the weight of the process, and the power of what is about to unfold. It's not easy to understand the seasons where God explains nothing. Those moments when everything feels too quiet, too slow, too invisible. There are days when you look around and wonder, is God still doing anything? But the kingdom works differently than our human logic. While you think you're stuck, heaven is moving pieces you cannot see yet. While you believe you're late, heaven is timing encounters, aligning connections, repositioning your steps. God's silence is never passivity, it's construction. And when heaven builds something in silence, that invisible work gains enough strength to become unstoppable when the time comes for it to appear. But very few people endure this stage. Most abandon the process exactly when God is finishing the foundation. Because silence confronts pride, exposes insecurities, amplifies fears, quiets distractions, reveals intentions, removes masks, dismantles self-deception. Silence is uncomfortable because it reveals what busyness hides. And don't be mistaken. When God places you in silence, He's not punishing you. He's cleansing you. Cleansing your motivation, cleansing your vision, cleansing your hurry, cleansing memories that still shape your reactions, cleansing wounds you've ignored for years. Because there are things God wants to build in you that cannot be shaped in the noise. Heaven's greatest repositionings happen when the world around you becomes quiet enough for you to finally hear what you've been trying to avoid. And maybe you are in that exact part of the process. You feel caught between seasons. Something ended, but something new hasn't started yet. You're in that strange in-between where there isn't enough clarity to move forward and not enough comfort to go back. This place has a name, pre-manifestation. It's the exact point where heaven is finishing something within you so it can begin something through you. But you only recognize this when you accept a brutal truth. Before God reveals the next level, He strengthens you to carry what that level requires. That's why you spent nights feeling forgotten, when in reality, you were being shaped. That's why doors closed without explanation, when in truth, heaven was protecting you from paths that would drain your strength. That's why certain people walked away suddenly, when God was removing influences that would sabotage your destiny. Silence exposes, repositions, and prepares. And I want you to notice something right now. If you look honestly at your recent story, you'll recognize movements that make no human sense, but carry a divine signature spiritually. That conversation that never happened, that opportunity that didn't develop, that invitation that never came, that relationship that didn't continue, that plan that didn't hold together. You called it delay. You called it rejection. You called it failure. But heaven called it protection. Because God does not allow anything that could compromise the work He is building inside you. And that's why, even without realizing it, you're already being led into a season where what was shaped in secret will begin to become evident to everyone who crosses your path. But before we continue, I want you to do something simple, yet deeply spiritual. Just repeat, in your own way, Lord, help me understand the silence that prepared me for what I'm about to live. Take a deep breath. Feel it. You're not just repeating a beautiful sentence, you're signing an agreement with purpose. Now, before we go into the next part, I want to ask you something gentle, with no pressure at all. If this word is touching your spirit in any way, and you know when it is, then subscribe to the channel. It's not just about following content. It's about walking together in a spiritual process that heaven has already started in you. Subscribe. and continue this journey with me. There are moments in life when everything you built starts falling apart right in front of your eyes. You try to hold it, but it slips. You try to fix it, but it crumbles. You try to insist, but it simply won't hold. And this is the point where most people fall into despair because they believe they are losing control. But let me tell you a truth your spirit already knows, even if your mind is still resisting. When God wants to take you somewhere you've never been, He dismantles the old version of you, piece by piece. None of this is destruction. It's transition. And there's a massive difference between losing and being relocated. Losing empties you. Relocation redirects you. Most people only understand this years later, but you're understanding it now. You are not being dismantled because God is punishing you. You are being dismantled because God is revealing you. Revealing strengths you didn't know you had. Revealing wounds you thought were already healed. Revealing emotional dependencies that were still holding you back. Revealing inner areas you hid behind your productivity. Because before God opens the next door, He must make sure you won't walk into it carrying the baggage that would sabotage you once you're inside. Silence is not just preparation. It is spiritual surgery. And this surgery hurts because it goes straight to the root. It's not makeup, it's restoration. It's not patchwork, it's reconstruction. Maybe you didn't notice it, but the situations that hurt you the most in recent years were not random. They were allowed to expose what needed healing before God positioned you in what He really has for you. The relationships that ended, the environments that became unbearable, the doors that closed, the opportunities that evaporated, all of it was God saying, "You have outgrown this. And the place you were in can no longer contain what I put inside you." And that's why you've been feeling that strange sense of not belonging. That feeling that you no longer fit where you used to fit. That what once made sense no longer resonates inside you. This is not crisis. This is expansion. And expansion hurts because it requires breaking old shells. Now, pay attention to what I'm about to tell you. You're not losing anything. You're being released. Released from burdens that were never yours. Released from expectations that imprisoned you. Released from ties that drained your strength. Released from cycles that no longer belong to you. And it's in this state of release that God builds His greatest works. Heaven works best when you stop fighting the process and begin allowing Him to reorganize what needs to be reorganized. Does this make sense to you? If it does, I want you to write something in the comments as a conscious and prophetic act. I release what is being dismantled, and I receive what God is building in silence. Write it. It's not just a sentence. It's alignment. Now, let me tell you something deep. And if you understand this, everything changes. Every time God dismantles one phase, He simultaneously begins building another. You think you're standing still, but heaven is doing two things at the same time. Closing what no longer serves you, building what will take you further. That's why things feel chaotic. Transition is noisy, but construction is silent. The chaos you see is only the reflection of what is ending. But what God is building that you cannot see yet. But it's there, it's happening, it's in progress. And when the right moment comes, everything that was built in silence will rise with avalanche force. You won't need to promote yourself. You won't need to explain yourself. You won't need to prove anything to anyone. When what God is building is revealed, it will be impossible to ignore. And I want you to seal this inside your spirit. What God builds in silence becomes unstoppable when it comes into the open. No persecution can stop it. No jealousy can stop it. No witchcraft can stop it. No human delay can stop it. No past that tries to accuse you can stop it. What heaven signs, earth has no authority to cancel before we move forward. I want you to do something almost no one does. To spiritually position yourself as you listen. Not just hearing, but entering. Not just receiving, but agreeing. Because there are words that only become reality when they are answered. And this segment is one of those moments. So prepare your spirit. Now repeat, quietly or in your heart, these declarations. Because they will unlock areas that have been stuck in silence. I place myself in the center of God's will. I release what has delayed me. I accept what has been prepared for me. I step into the path heaven has written. I advance without fear, because I do not advance alone. These sentences are not motivational. They are codes. And codes unlock doors no human strength could ever open. And that's exactly what is happening right now. Some doors that remained closed for years are beginning to shift on the inside. You may not hear it physically, but spiritually, you feel it. You know when something is about to happen. When the inner atmosphere changes before the outer one. That's what's happening to you now. Your mind can't translate it, but your spirit is already standing. And let me reveal something most people never realize. God's greatest activations don't begin with movement on the outside, but with agreement on the inside. When you declare certain things, heaven doesn't just hear, heaven responds. And when heaven responds, the earth cannot ignore it. That's why you're being pushed into new territory. It's not anxiety, it's not confusion, it's not emotional need. It's a calling. And calling hurts because it pulls you out of the comfortable place and positions you in the necessary one. Now do something with me. Place your hand over your chest for a few seconds. Take a deep breath and say with boldness, even if your voice shakes, I authorize heaven to move what needs to be moved. Again, with more firmness, I break my own limits. One more time, I accept the version of me that God has written. Do you feel it? The spiritual atmosphere responds when someone aligns with heaven. And as you declare this, something is happening behind the curtain of your life. Conversations that involve you, rooms where your name is being mentioned, opportunities that were stuck beginning to move again, paths that seemed blocked adjusting themselves quietly. Because when you assume your position, heaven reorganizes everything around you to sustain your advancement. Some people will find your silence strange. Some situations will try to pull you back. Some old cycles will try to reopen. But none of it has enough strength to stop what God decided to establish. None. There are moments when life feels far too quiet. But that quietness is not absence. It's construction. It's alignment. It's God rearranging pieces you don't even know exist. And maybe you are exactly there, at a point in your story where nothing seems to move. Yet everything is being repositioned by God. Listen, when heaven begins adjusting the invisible, the visible takes a little longer to catch up. And it's in that interval between what God has already released and what you still cannot see that many give up, get confused, step back, or sabotage themselves. But you are not here by accident. You're hearing this because a realignment is happening right now. And I want you to declare this with me, with a steady voice. I remain in what God is building, even when I cannot see. Say it again. Nothing that is mine will be lost in the silence. Now feel this. The sense of stagnation you feel is not failure. It is preparation. It is God protecting what is not ready to be revealed. Because everything that grows too fast breaks. But everything God builds at his pace becomes unstoppable. And there's something you need to understand deeply. God's silence is not punishment. Delay is not rejection. The pause is not abandonment. The quiet is not regression. Quietness is surgery. God is removing what no longer serves you, freeing you from invisible agreements, disconnecting you from cycles that drained your strength, and repositioning you for a season where nothing and no one will be able to manipulate what he is about to reveal through you. And let me give you a spiritual key. Before God places you in front of anyone, he strengthens you away from everyone. That's why this phase is quiet. That's why it seems no one sees you. That's why nothing appears to open. It's because you are in the place of adjustment. And if this is touching you now, write in the comments as an act of faith, I am in the place where God prepares me for what no one has seen yet. This is not just a comment. This is a spiritual symbol, a signature in the invisible realm. Now listen, sometimes God hides you to protect you. He conceals you so the wrong voices won't contaminate you. He delays certain encounters so misguided connections won't interfere with what he is activating in you. He interrupts paths to keep enemies from getting ahead. You are being preserved, not forgotten. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine God moving pieces on a board you cannot see. People being removed, doors being locked, other doors being prepared, decisions being shaped, opportunities being aligned for the exact moment, and you being aligned with a destiny that could not arrive earlier. That's why silence surrounds you, because heaven is in a meeting about your name. Now declare again, but this time with full awareness, what God builds in silence will become unstoppable when it is revealed. Take a deep breath, because you're going to feel this inside you. Something is moving right now. It's not emotional. It's not motivational. It's spiritual. Have you ever noticed that there are seasons when God doesn't touch your circumstances first? He touches you? Some people think waiting is wasted time, but waiting is the laboratory where God shapes warriors, heirs, and spiritual leaders. And if you're hearing this right now, it means heaven is touching internal areas of your life that no one else can see. And that is profoundly spiritual. There are external battles you only win after something inside you is realigned. And the kingdom works exactly like this. First, he transforms the inside, then he manifests on the outside. Do you know why? Because God does not release destiny into someone who doesn't yet have the inner structure to sustain what he wants to reveal. And maybe you've felt pressured, squeezed, tested. But that's not punishment. It's preparation. It's resistance being built. It's maturity being activated. It's your identity being strengthened before heaven opens what no one will ever be able to shut. Now let me say this to you clearly. Some doors only open when you no longer depend on them to validate you. Heaven does not release something to someone who still needs that very thing to feel valuable. That's why things took time. That's why God hid you. That's why he stayed silent. Were you not ready? No. You were being adjusted. And while God was adjusting you, you didn't notice. But the entire spiritual realm was watching how you reacted to frustration, to waiting, to delay, to silence. And believe me, it was your faithfulness in small things that authorized heaven to unlock greater things now. That's why, pay attention. It is no coincidence that you are listening to this message. Something in the spiritual realm is being repositioned in your favor at this exact moment. If what I'm saying is echoing inside you, declare right now, I pass the internal test to carry the weight of the promise. Say it again, but deeper this time. I am prepared on the inside first, so I can manifest on the outside. Now breathe, and notice something. You are no longer reacting the way you used to. You're different. The inside has already changed. And because the inside changed, the outside will now respond. But before we enter the next part, I want you to write in the comments, as a prophetic act, as someone sealing a cycle of maturity, my inner life has been aligned. Now the external will follow. Do not underestimate this. There are things that are only activated when you write. Written words create spiritual markers. Now listen, there is a release coming to you, but it cannot arrive while your vision of yourself is misaligned. And that's why you walked through this strange season where it felt like God was tightening you from the inside. In reality, he was preparing you so that when the right door opens, you would walk through it without fear, without hesitation, and without carrying unnecessary baggage. And let me ask you something. Have you noticed that you've changed? Your patience has grown. Your vision has expanded. Your priorities have shifted. Your spiritual sensitivity has increased. And what used to break you now only strengthens you. That's not overcoming. That is divine configuration. You are being reprogrammed to operate at the level of your destiny, not at the level of your pain. God does not adjust the outside so he can move the inside. He adjusts the inside so the outside will not destroy you. From time to time, there comes a moment when the spiritual realm seems to shift the ground beneath your feet. It isn't disorder. It isn't chaos. It's realignment. And maybe you've noticed this lately. People drifting away, connections changing, old opportunities losing their shine, doors you once insisted on suddenly no longer making sense. You thought you were losing, but you were being redirected. Because when God decides to place you on the exact path, he removes everything that was distracting you from purpose, even if, at first, it hurts. Let me give you a truth very few people understand. The kingdom repositions the environment first, then reveals the reason. You feel it before you understand it. You sense it before you see it. You move before you know where you're going. And that is part of the process. What looked like instability was, in reality, God unsticking you from places that no longer match the future he wrote for you. Listen, something powerful is happening right now. Heaven is connecting dots you didn't even know existed. It's weaving together conversations, people, places, and movements that will lead you into something you've never experienced. And this movement started in silence, but now it's becoming visible. But there's something crucial. The spiritual realm only advances to the next level when you take your position. So declare this right now, not just with your mouth, but with your soul. I position myself in the alignment of the kingdom. Again, with authority. Where heaven places me, no man can remove me, I accept heaven's repositioning, and I walk where he directs me. Breathe. Feel how that declaration shifts something inside you. This kind of declaration changes direction, changes frequency, changes spiritual response. And let me tell you something. You are stepping into a phase where the kingdom will accelerate things that once took long. What felt distant will come closer. What was held back will begin to move. What looked impossible will start to align. Because when the inside stabilizes, the outside obeys. Now pay attention, this is important. Many times before breakthrough comes, God touches your connections. He removes what cannot sustain you. He brings near what was already prepared. He reveals what was hidden. He protects what was vulnerable. And this spiritual reorganization has already begun around you. Do you know what this means? It means you are about to enter a season where everything will finally make sense. It means what you lost will prove to have been protection. It means the path that looked broken will reveal itself as the right one. It means the promise you carried silently will start sending signals in the invisible realm. And all of this because the kingdom decided it is time for you to be seen. But the right way, in the right place, with the right people, at the exact moment. Now, before we move to the next movement, I want you to declare something that releases spiritual territories. I walk with confidence in the direction God is opening now. One more time, firm and steady. Nothing that is mine will pass me by. Everything will be realigned in my favor. Breathe. You're feeling this because heaven is pushing your story forward. You know that moment in life when everything around you seems to lower its volume? Conversations change. Movements slow down. Answers become rare. Doors stop knocking. Even your thoughts sound quieter. And you start wondering, did I do something wrong? Did I miss an instruction? Did God pull away from me? But let me reveal a truth you may have never heard like this. When God is about to direct you into a new environment, He first silences everything around you. Not to punish you, not to confuse you, but so you can finally hear what He is saying. Because there are directions from heaven that do not arrive in the middle of noise. There are new paths that only appear when the old ones fall silent. There are answers that only descend when you stop insisting on what has already expired. And maybe, right now, you are living inside that silence. It is not a desert. It is not abandonment. It is preparation. Do you know why? Because God knows that if He gave you everything you're asking for right now, with all the noise that surrounded you, you wouldn't be able to sustain it. So He did what only a perfect father knows how to do. He placed you in an atmosphere where the only voice capable of guiding you is His. And there's more. This silence is not empty. It is full of movement, full of alignment. It's full of answers not yet revealed, full of things you cannot see but that are happening. You are not stuck. You are being positioned. Now do something for yourself. Take a deep breath, really breathe, and declare with awareness, God's silence is not absence. It is direction. Again, letting your spirit respond, I trust what I cannot hear, because I know who is guiding me. Do you feel what that stirs inside you? It's because a type of spiritual sensitivity is being activated in you, a sensitivity many people never experience. But let me tell you something deep. This silence did not come to delay you. It came to protect you from rushed decisions, wrong connections, shortcuts that would pull you out of purpose, and people who could not handle what God is about to do in you. You are not alone. You are being tuned. And tuning always comes before the song. Now, before we move to the next part, I want you to make a simple but powerful prophetic act. Mentally place everything that distracted you in recent months outside of your inner environment. And declare with conviction, as a spiritual seal, I embrace the silence that directs me. Because those who embrace the silence receive instructions not given to just anyone. Heaven is preparing you for something that will not merely be seen, but felt. Not merely received, but carried. Not merely lived, but witnessed. And what comes after this silence will be unstoppable. There is a kind of spiritual movement that doesn't arrive with thunder. It comes like someone reorganizing a dark room without turning on the light, but shifting everything into a new place. And maybe you're living exactly that right now. It's no coincidence that you feel life is different, not chaotic, just different. As if something is being pushed away and something else is being pulled closer. As if relationships are changing tone. As if certain environments have lost their shine. as if old paths have become too tight for the new version of you. Let me tell you what that means. You have entered the phase of divine adjustment. It's when God reorganizes your life like someone preparing a stage before the curtain opens. And no one sees it. No one understands it. Sometimes not even you understand it. But everything is being repositioned. Connections that once felt solid start to weaken. Not because something went wrong, but because they don't belong in the next chapter. Opportunities that once seemed promising simply disappear. Not because of your lack of skill, but because they were never aligned with your destiny. Doors you knocked on for months won't open, not because you didn't try, but because they no longer belong to your future. And while all of this is happening, God makes no noise. He just moves, aligns, reinterprets, rewrites, and inside you, there's something you can't explain. As if you're ahead and behind at the same time. As if you're close to something big but don't know what it is. As if something is about to manifest, but is still wrapped in silence. If you're living this, pay attention. It is a sign that heaven is positioning you in a place you could never reach on your own. And let me give you a deep truth. God's adjustments are uncomfortable. They touch what you wouldn't touch. They cut what you wouldn't cut. They accelerate what you would delay. They hold back what you would rush. But every adjustment is protection, is preparation, is promotion in disguise. Now, take a breath. Close your eyes if you can, and declare with authority, I allow God to adjust what I cannot see. I embrace the alignment that comes before manifestation. I cooperate with heaven's invisible movement, because those who cooperate with the invisible experience the impossible. And before we enter the final prayer, I want to ask you something important. Subscribe to the channel now, not for numbers, but so you don't miss what heaven is going to release in the next messages of this series. There are revelations that need to walk with you day after day, and I don't want you to miss them. And if this word spoke to you, write in the comments, I embrace the divine adjustment. This activates a deep spiritual awareness in you and creates a covenant between your faith and your future. Now breathe, because in the next moment, we're entering the strongest prayer of this episode, a prayer that doesn't just touch, it shifts things in the spiritual realm. Father, in the name of the one who steps where no one else can step, the one who sees what human eyes cannot, the one who commands advancement when everything around screams impossibility. We enter now into the atmosphere of your presence. We do not enter timidly. We enter boldly. We enter as those who know they have a place at the table. We enter as those who recognize access has already been granted. Now, Lord, I place before you this life, listening to this prayer, a life you yourself have drawn in, aligned, and positioned for this moment. And I declare, no force from the past will have authority over this person's future. No old sentence will be stronger than the decree heaven releases now. No cycle of lack will survive the fire you are pouring out. Father, touch the deep places. Go to the roots. Go to the places this person has never told anyone about. Go to the hidden fears. Go to the silent traumas. Go to the concealed blockages. And where there is fear, plant courage. Where there is confusion, release clarity. Where there is guilt, pour grace. Where there is failure, release a new beginning. Where there is loss, restore double. Where there is darkness, command light. For you are the one who specializes in working in the areas where humans have given up. Now, I pray specifically over spiritual patterns that attempted to repeat themselves. And I declare by kingdom authority, every generational curse is destroyed now. Every ancestral voice of lack is silenced. Every pattern of loss, delay, sabotage, or interruption is canceled. Every inherited emotional bondage is burned at the root. I sever every spiritual influence that once said, in your family, it's always been this way. No one prospers, no one rises. No one gets past this point. No one goes further. I declare, you are the interruption of the cycle. You are the end of the repetition. You are the line dividing the old from the new. You are the beginning of a new story in your house. Now I pray for doors. Yes, doors. Doors that have remained closed for years. Doors this person knocked on but never opened. Doors that were meant to move but remained still. Doors the enemy tried to lock. Doors fear attempted to block. And I declare in the spiritual realm, doors open. Paths align, connections draw near. Strategies be revealed. Resources flow. What was distant comes nearer. What was impossible becomes accessible. What was stuck begins to move. What was bound is released. What was hidden comes into the light. Now I pray for vision, not natural vision, spiritual vision, the ability to see what you are moving in the invisible, the ability to perceive what heaven has already prepared, the ability to discern opportunities sent by you. I declare, let this mind be sharpened like a spiritual radar. Let spiritual senses awaken. Let signs once overlooked now be noticed. Let doors once ignored now be recognized. And where there is distraction, cut it. Where there is confusion, command silence. Where there is anxiety, release peace. Now, I pray over the area of finances because I know this is about territory. It's about purpose. It's about impact. It's about legacy. I declare, let every spirit of waste fall to the ground. Let every form of spiritual mismanagement be corrected. Let every wrong door draining resources be closed. Let every unhealthy financial alliance be broken. And now I activate the principle of transfer. What was in the wrong hands returns to the right ones. What was reserved is released. What was withheld manifests. What was stored reaches its destination. I prophesy new flows, new clients, new doors, new provision, new income, new strategy, visible multiplication. Now, Lord, enter the area of emotions, because no transfer happens with a misaligned heart. Where there is anxiety, heal. Where there is excessive control, teach surrender. Where there is frustration, release new expectation. Where there is disappointment, pour balm. Where there is weariness, breathe life. And where this person feels disqualified, I declare, you are called, you are chosen, you are set apart, you are not late, you are aligned, you are not lost, you are being guided. Now, I pray that this person believes again, not with fragile hope, but with solid faith. Faith that rises, faith that sustains, faith that crosses through, faith that accesses. And I prophesy, what God began in your life, He will finish. What God promised you, He will fulfill. What God showed you, He will make you live. Now, Father, enter the area of identity. Erase old labels. Remove words that marked. Destroy lies that were believed. Rewrite how this person sees themselves. And I declare, let the identity of an heir be activated. Let the identity of a victor arise. Let the identity of the chosen be strengthened. Let the identity of the beloved child be established. Now, Lord, release what has been held back for far too long. Release movement, release acceleration, release alignment, release advancement. I prophesy days of restitution, seasons of multiplication, paths of honor, environments of favor. And let no contrary spirit, no structure, no work of darkness have power to resist what the Lord is raising right now. I seal this prayer in the name of JES, us, the name that reigns above everything. Amen and amen.